Greetings, my name is Tim Johnson. This is Recovery, Strength, Hope and Courage. Today's video is just a short one really, has been inspired by the visit next week of my wife, who's coming to stay here for 10 days in Spain, and something I'm obviously greatly looking forward to. But it got me thinking. I was sort of mulling over really about the last 18 months of my sobriety, and what I've learned really, the most important lesson I've learned. And I think that just something I want to share with you is that I'm discovering and still have discovered and still discovering is that yeah, you can do all the good things, the stopping and the stopping drinking and taking drugs obviously, and the diet and the exercise and the gratitude and the giving and all the things that are great tools, many of them, to keep you sober and strong in your recovery. But the greatest lesson of all I've learned, the greatest thing of all, and the hardest lesson I've learned, is how to live my life sober. I've had to, and I'm sure you've experienced the same feelings, whatever stage you're at. Life's very difficult, and you have to learn to live it without the crutch of alcohol and drugs. So that means experiencing emotions, perhaps for the first time sober for a very long time, or perhaps even for the first time, dealing with situations in your life, difficult situations, dealing with relationships with your partner or your children or parents, family, friends, whatever. Or just people in general. Actually learning how to deal with people again is another skill. There's an old saying which I've used before in another video: life isn't about waiting for the storms to pass, it's about learning to dance in the rain. And in essence, I think that's one of the greatest lessons I've learned really, how to begin to learn. It's like becoming, I can liken it to starting out in life again as a child, if you like, relearning how to deal with situations. It's a great privilege, and I've said this before in other videos. I think, and I believe still, that it's a great privilege to have the opportunity to reinvent yourself and relearn how to live your life, you know, whatever age you are, and you're never too old and never too young to make this change and make this journey. And I don't regret. And I think that another lesson I've learned is about not having regrets, not having anger in me at all, or resentment in me at all, and not taking things personally. That was another massive lesson. I think the biggest thing for me, and I think with a lot of people in addiction, was my absolute, all my life, my lack of self-worth and my lack of self-esteem. I truly couldn't look at myself in the mirror. I had such a low opinion of my own worth and use, and there was no self-love, just self-hatred and regret and anger and resentment and all bitterness and blame and all these horrible negative emotions which you have to learn to lose and learn to live in a different way. And this is what I mean with the title of this video. I think what I've discovered is, because I always used to look for the perfect outcome in everything in my life, you know, the perfect outcome, because I always, and if you look back at my life story in the other videos on this channel, you know, I tell it in great detail. You know, I had great success in my career and my life along the way, but happiness, no. You know, there was no self-worth, no self-esteem. I was always after the perfect outcome. Always looking for approval, which is a common theme amongst a lot of addicts, and a lot of people in general these days anyway, looking, you know, to be presenting myself the correct way, looking the right way. I never thought that I looked good or was attractive or to anybody, you know, and that was physically and you know, spiritually, and these feelings sort of, I used on them, and I used drugs on them, and I used alcohol on them all my life, you know, to numb them and to hide them and to shy away from them. But the title of this video is I'm Perfectly Imperfect, and I think this is the great realization that I've come to. And I think that on your sober journey, and I hate to use the sober journey as, you know, is a bit of a cliche, I suppose, isn't it? But it is, you know, it's a fact. It is a journey. it's exciting, and and you're constantly learning and discovering about yourself. And perfectly imperfect, what I mean by that is that what I'm learning about myself is that yes, I'm a decent person, and it's not just through the giving I'm doing and the positivity that I'm trying to instill in myself and other people on a daily basis, and which all helps, and all these other things help, and the gratitude and diet and exercise, everything I'm doing for my sobriety. But I'm discovering that as I'm dealing with life day to day, and I'm learning about myself, that I am half decent, that people do want to be with me again, and don't necessarily find me attractive or anything, but an attractive soul, if you like, that and I realise that I can never be perfect, and this journey is all about being the best version of yourself that you can be. But you'll never reach perfection. You'll never be perfect, and it's no use striving for the perfect outcome in everything in your life, because it's never going to happen, is it? Life, it happens around you. As they were saying, that shit happens, and it does. There's going to be bad things happening in your life. There's going to be great things happening in your life, and sad and etc etc. And there's going to be times when you're angry and resentful, and you've got to recognise how to learn and recognise these emotions for what they are, and deal with them as they come up, and accept them, and accept yourself, and accept your own frailties, and that you aren't a perfect human being. Meditation helps greatly with that, and I meditate for 20 minutes every single day minimum, and find time to do it. Even if I've got a busy schedule, I'll always find time to do that. Mindfulness is exceptionally important. We recognizing emotions and learning how to deal with them. And what I've found along the way is, I say with my wife coming, this is because I'm not looking to for any sort of forgiveness for everything I've done to my family and my wife, God rest her soul, my mum and my grandparents, and my wife's parents, and obviously my wife and children and friends. I'm not looking for forgiveness for the bad things that I've done along the way, because I know that there's no point in me now looking backwards. It's this self, because it used to cause me this great self-hatred and this regret and resentment. I even used to resent them when they wanted to be distant from me and didn't want to know me and didn't want to be part of my life. I used to resent. I used to think that was their fault. I didn't used to look at my own part in it, which was massive, because they only ever gave me love and support, and I just threw it back in their face a lot of the time. But it's no use even dwelling on any of that anymore. And this is what I mean by being perfectly imperfect, moving towards, always doing your best and trying to be that best version of yourself that you can be, and just letting things happen with your relationships, with your life, and watching things and watching the way your emotions work, and not letting yourself. I used to think I suffered from depression, but I didn't. I didn't really suffer from depression at all. I just suffered from not being able to deal with the things that were going on around me, and that brought me great unhappiness. But now I have this feeling, this mood of optimism and positivity all the time, and my relationships are growing because of it. Not just with my family, God love them, because they are, things are great, and they're becoming better every single time and every day. And I thank the universe for that. But with friends and people that are coming into my life now that want to know me and want to be with me, and that I'm able to know that I'm perfectly imperfect, but I'm a good person, and I'm doing my best, and that makes me feel worthy. And I am worthy, and I try to give myself love every day, because it's lacking from a lot of our lives. We don't love ourselves, do we? Particularly us addicts. So because we've been very selfish people in the past. So that's just what I wanted to share with you today. There's no magic formula to this. It's bloody hard work to focus on yourself. To look at yourself is the hardest work of all. To look at your own frailties and your own weaknesses and how you deal with things is hard. It's a hard old lesson to learn every single day and every minute of your life. But if you learn to dance in the rain and realise that you're perfectly imperfect and always do your best and don't take things personally, then your journey will continue, and you'll get stronger and stronger in your sobriety, and realise that you never really needed that crutch of alcohol and drugs, and or whatever your addiction was, whether it be food or gambling or sex or whatever your addiction was. It was just masking those emotions and that unhappiness and that lack of self-worth and all the rest of it. Once you realize all that and realize you'll never achieve perfection, then your journey to happiness and to peace and to inner calm and serenity, almost to transcendence, if you like, will be yours for the taking, as I'm finding out in my life. And as I say, I thank the universe for that and all the support that I've had around me. It's a journey that you learn every day. It's not easy. It's not easy, guys. You know, all of you that are watching this, whatever stage you're at, whether you're thinking about stopping, whether you're in withdrawal, whether you're in early recovery, whether you're in that first difficult 6-month stage, or whether you're in late recovery and you're struggling a year and a half, 2 years in, and you're thinking, what's the point of all this? Take a look at why you're feeling like that, and deal with it, and deal with those emotions, and use mindfulness and all the tools that are there for the taking, which are all there for you. You know, you can only find this happiness. I've said this many times. You know, the happiness is there inside of you. You've just got to find it. You know, find that it's been buried deep for a very long time. You know, and you've been hiding from your feelings for so long, and numbing them and shutting them away, that you have to learn like a child how to deal with them again, and that's a great privilege. Remember that. Anyway, that's enough from me today. Much love to you all. Carpe Diem. Seize the day today. Make the change today in your life, which will bring you great joy and happiness for the rest of it. Much love to you all. Thank you. Bye-bye.